If you want to make money on UFC Vancouver, it is simple. Go to your sports book, put money on Charles Jourdain, go to bed, wake up to cash in your account. That's as simple as it is. They bumped this man up to the main card. Why would they do that? Not to give Davey Grant a win over the fan favorite in Canada. That's not why they bumped it to the main card. It's because the script has been written. Charles Jourdain, moneyline, will cash. Come back to this video after the fight ends.
Tell them to bring me my money.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and today I'm coming at you with my recap video for UFC Vancouver RDR versus Aiemann. Banger of a card, whole lot of stuff was going on. It was absolutely insane, but the bets were fire. We cashed. We're going to talk about the bets. We're going to talk about all the fights and everything. So yeah, we can just break them down one by one. First up, we got Malott versus Tainara Lisboa. I went a little crazy on this. I had a couple haymaker plays after the best bets video. Ended up basically breaking even, though. It was a back and forth scrap. Pretty entertaining. I got a nice little live money line spot on both girls. Didn't really make hardly anything on this, but it was fine. I mean, the fight itself, it was pretty entertaining. I mean, it was a back and forth war. You know, I really don't know what to really think about either of these girls. Neither of them really looked great. But I guess Malott, I mean, she was just so huge out there. She just used that size and that physical strength. She was really beating on Lisboa late in that third round. Finally got that finish, which was cool. But yeah, I don't really know where to go with either of those girls from this point on. Didn't really have anything on this ahead of time for a reason. It was a bit of a trap. And yeah, this was just kind of just for fun. I got a nice little spot. This was a bit of a Hail Mary. I thought there was maybe a chance it could have hit. But yeah, obviously it didn't. But got in a nice little live money line, plus 150. So I had a nice little hedge there, but really not a whole lot from it. Next up, we had Aiemann versus Yusri Belgouri. This fight was pretty damn crazy. You know, Aiemann, I know he sold a lot of people's parlays. That's why I took this one super light. You know, I did take him, but his money line and plus one takedown landed, minus 170. Just a quarter unit like we talked about. I had those reserves about that Dylan Budka fight. I was really worried about that one, but played it really light on this one. Had the 1+ takedown landed, same game parlay to have any. That's the only action we had on him. Now, I had a couple of nice spots with the money lines. I actually played this before the fight started. I did have this like kind of intuition in the back of my mind. I was thinking, I was like, all right, he's such a big favorite in the spot. You know, like what if Yusri comes in here looking really good right away and Aiemann isn't able to have any success, there's going to be no live betting opportunity here because it's just going to completely tank. So I threw a small, just 0.1 unit bet on Yusri Belgouri, his money line before the fight started. So this was completely before, and I kind of did it to kind of not like hedge out, but make it to where we could really make money either way on this fight. And I wanted to get into it from a live betting standpoint. So I had this was a pre-fight bet, plus 245, just a tiny little 0.1 unit to make 0.25. But then the live betting comes around. I get Yusri Belgouri live at minus 115. This was towards the end of the first round. Aiemann was starting to slow down, and I really did not like the cardio on him. You know, Yusri was able to keep it on the feet. He was stopping a lot of the takedowns. And at this point, I kind of figured he was going to win the fight. So I figured, all right, okay, at minus 115, I'll put another little sprinkle on him. Only 0.1 units. Wanted to play this light because I really think either guy could have won this fight. But yeah, that ended up cashing, and then later on, they gave me odds. I kind of went for him. I had a plus 310 on Aiemann live money line because in the second round, you know, he was starting to get tired and he was wearing down, but I thought he had a second wind. You know, it kind of looked like he might have started to bounce back. And I put a very small 0.05 unit live money line spot on Aiemann there at plus 310, and then I kind of doubled down because at this point we were kind of in at a nice spot where we pretty much break even on this one. But so I took Aiemann live money line plus 150 0.1 units. Obviously did not hit, but yeah, not really. I mean, this was kind of just a wash all around. Nothing really came from this one. I mean, these two plays canceled each other out. These two cancel each other out. So yeah, just barely negative as a whole on this fight. I mean, Aiemann completely shit the bed. I can't say I'm surprised, though. I mean, we talked about it in terms of that Dylan Budka fight. That was really a huge red flag. But at the same time, you know, I wasn't really too high on Yusri. He didn't look great in his earlier fights. He really wasn't a finisher going for it. This was a whole different version of Yusri. I will say this is the best that he's ever looked. So he did impress me. Whereas Aiemann, you know, we had these concerns. If he couldn't get the takedown, it's not going to be a good look. So that Aiemann kind of met our expectations on this one. But Yusri, at least in my eyes, he really exceeded my expectations. But next up, we had Stephanie Luciano versus Ravena Oliveira. Now, Stephanie Luciano looked damn good out here. Cast us here, clear as day. Great play. I got screwed. I'm only human, all right? The third round comes around. There's some grappling. I get Ravena as a plus 1,400 underdog. I was like, you know what? There's a chance maybe Ravena could wrap up a late sub. I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen. I'm only human. Plus 1,400. Took a tiny, tiny, tiny little stab. Because I figured at this point, it wouldn't like completely hedge us out. But it was at the point where I was like, you know what? I'll take a little stab. 0.025 units. Extremely small, like I said. But ended up not cashing. But Stephanie Luciano absolutely cashed us. That's our girl. She did her thing. I will say, though, Ravena looked a lot better than I thought, and Stephanie looked a little bit worse than I thought. I will say. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but yeah, this is what stood out to me. But next up, we had Danny Barlow versus Djorden Santos. We stayed off of this shit for a reason. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, Danny Barlow is a lot worse than we thought he was. Oh my goodness. I mean, his cardio was trash. Djorden Santos really took over the later that fight went on. Did hit a nice spot though. Hit a nice little Djorden Santos live money line. Plus 150. This was early on in the fight. You know, once I saw that the striking was back and forth early on in that first round, I was like, all right, this has split decision written all over it. Like, I really thought it could go back and forth, especially because Djorden Santos, yeah, he definitely was at a power disadvantage, but we know that his durability is actually pretty decent. So I knew right away if he was able to keep this fight on the feet, keep it competitive back and forth, you know, he's going to keep the same pace for 15 minutes. Where Danny Barlow, he had that power edge, but he started to slow down. Hit a nice live money line bet on Djorden Santos plus 150, which was nice. Ended up cashing 0.23 units on this, and then after that, I was just trying to hedge it almost with Danny Barlow. Caught him at plus 340. Then towards the end of the fight, in my eyes, I thought it was 1-1 going into the third round. Danny Barlow at plus 950. This was early on in that third round. Yes, I know he was tired. Yes, I know he was slowing down. He damn near almost could have gotten finished in the second round. I totally get why the line was this wide, but in my eyes, I'm like, yes, that was a terrible way to end the round, but it's still 1-1. You know what I mean? Like, it's still 1-1 round. Like, Danny Barlow could have definitely won that fight. He kind of just gave it away at the very end. You know, like the third round, he lost him the entire fight. Plus 950, I had to. I mean, that was just, if there was a split decision robbery, like, we've seen worse robberies than if Danny Barlow were to have won that fight. So, in my eyes, I thought it was totally worth it. I ended up playing 0.1 units Danny Barlow live money line plus 950. Obviously didn't cash, but hit a nice spot on the Djorden Santos money line early on in that fight after I saw that he was a bit competitive. So either way, it was going to cash us out and kind of hedge us there. So ended up just, I mean, not a whole lot, just barely slightly up. But still not too bad, especially because we had that shot, you know, the plus 950. If Danny Barlow would have won that fight, that would have been a huge come up. So I really had a great live betting spot on this fight. I mean, this fight in particular was a really good one. But anyway, next up, Drew Dober versus Kyle Prepolec. Oh my goodness gracious. I had 2 live money line bets on Drew Dober, minus 130, minus 180. You give me a huge favorite. Kyle Prepolec is not good, but oh my goodness gracious. Drew Dober was out there making that man look like prime Khabib. I mean, or not Khabib. Like, it's a great, he was making him look absolutely amazing. I mean, Drew Dober finds a way to, I mean, the fight was a banger. It was an awesome fight, back and forth, very fun. But oh my goodness gracious, Drew Dober has probably some of the worst fight IQ I've ever seen. Will not fight a smart fight. He will just try and go out there and make it a war, which we knew that. Tell you what though, third round comes around. This is what really frustrated me with this entire card though, is the inconsistencies. We're going to talk about the Kevin Holland fight, but this fight, okay, third round comes around. It's arguably tied 1-1. Now, third round comes around. Drew Dober hits Kyle with a nut tap, right? Nut tap, one nut tap, no warning, no nothing. They go all 5 minutes. Kyle takes all 5 minutes for this nut tap. Then you see the ref go and talk to the commissioner off camera. They cut his mic. He goes and talks. He's not taking a point away. Literally, right when he gets the nut tap, he goes, you know, take your time. We're not going to do anything. You know, it was unintentional. This is a warning. He says that right when the break begins. 5 minutes later, he goes and talks to the commissioner. He comes back. They cut his mic. He comes back in. He goes, you know what? We're actually going to take a point. If that is not the most fixed, heinous bullshit I've ever seen. And that's like, the bets ended up cashing. We know Drew Dober ended up getting that third round knockout. So this is one of those where I'm like, thank goodness gracious, people are not like, it sucks when there's like some BS going on with the fights where it's like genuine corruption and genuine BS, but you have money involved. So then people automatically completely discredit your opinion. And they're like, well, no, you're just bitter coping. Like, this was one of those fights, literally made money on this fight, but oh my goodness gracious, that was like, the fact that they waited 5 full minutes, he went and talked off camera, mic cut to the commissioner 5 minutes later. Now we're going to take a point. And he didn't decide to take it right away. Let's wait the entire 5 minutes. And he even said, he was like, it was unintentional. First time, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to do anything. Then he takes a point. He just completely switches his opinion, completely changes his mind. And that was the first nut tap too. No warning, no nothing, which I'm not even like, if you want to take a point for that, totally fine. We're going to talk about the Kevin Holland fight. But at least, like, you know what? Stick to that. If that's the rule set we're going to apply by, if that's what the rule set we're going to follow, stick to that. One nut tap, a bad nut tap like that, take a point. That's not even the part that I'm mad about. It's just the inconsistencies. But anyway, gets a point taken away. I was sweating, I'm not going to lie, because at this point, I already had both of these bets placed. After the point got taken away, I mean, Drew Dober's money line, he shot up to like a plus 800. If I didn't have these earlier two bets, I definitely would have put something on Drew Dober live money line, because after that point taken away, I mean, it got taken away from him. I mean, his money line was through the roof. I thought about it. I was like, I can't just hammer another one here. I'm overexposing way too much on Drew Dober, and he made that way more competitive than he should be or should have been, but thank goodness Drew Dober got the job done. And that was one of those two. We talked about this too, where it's like, there was like, Kyle Prepolec was a plus 3 something underdog. I mean, he was a huge underdog. There was over 50% of the total money on sportsbooks. Over 50% was on Kyle Prepolec. That is insane. That shit never happens. I mean, that is not common for a minus 500 favorite to have more than 50% of the total money against them. Is like Vegas's worst nightmare. I mean, if Kyle Prepolec would have won this fight, the sports books would have been like code red dumpster fire, because that would have been horrible. This was a nightmare from start to finish. I mean, it was a bar burner of a fight. Kyle Prepolec looked better than I thought, but at this point, he's 0-4 in the UFC. What the hell do you do with him? He's probably getting the cut, because he's really just not that good. And oh my goodness gracious, Drew Dober. Honestly, Drew Dober is on the ban list. If he can't knock people out, he's cooked. I mean, he's not going to fight smart. He's just going to go out there, and now his chin is so bad. I mean, Kyle Prepolec had him in dangerous spots. Yeah, Drew Dober is probably on the ban list, or fade list at least. He's going to have to get faded in his next fight, but at least he came through in this one. But next up, the fight of the night, my favorite fight, had me feeling like Einstein in this one. Bruno Silva versus HyunSung Park. This was where we absolutely cashed. This was generational. Absolute masterclass from Bruno Silva. I mean, he had so much back knee on his back. I mean, if he was on some special sauce for this, I wouldn't be surprised, because seeing a grown man with that much acne on their back, it usually means there might be a little testosterone flowing through their veins, a little more so than normal. I don't know. Don't care. Bruno Silva came through, absolutely cashed us. This is probably I think this is the biggest ticket I've ever had on this channel in terms of things that I've hit, not like some random flyers, like a I don't know, like a round 3 knockout or something, little springer. But huge ticket. Bruno Silva by submission, plus 1,200. We cashed. We talked about it in the best bets video. We literally saw Tatsuro Taira drop HyunSung Park and submit his ass. What does Bruno Silva do? Drops HyunSung Park and submits his ass. I mean, we talked about it. We saw the vision. We took the risk, and it paid off. You know, and this was definitely like a bit of a flyer, like a Hail Mary, but I'm honestly even more proud of this line right here. The Bruno Silva submission only, knockout or decision, no action, purely because HyunSung Park had a lot of submission wins, but he is not the better grappler. I mean, Tatsuro Taira had his way on the ground with him, and Bruno Silva is a high-level black belt BJJ guy from Brazil. HyunSung Park is a young kid beating up cans in the regional scenes of Asia. That is not the same level of grappling, and it absolutely showed in this fight. I mean, Bruno Silva got to HyunSung Park's back multiple times. I mean, it was just like a clear, huge discrepancy in terms of the grappling. And for us to get this line at plus 380, my only regret was not going heavier on this, because I figured there was no way in hell that Bruno Silva was going to get submitted by HyunSung Park. I mean, he could have gotten knocked out. That's why I played this one lighter, because I figured, okay, there's a real chance that HyunSung Park could knock Bruno Silva out, but he's not going to submit him. Plus 380, absolute cash. Run me my money, bring it to the bank. Huge. Then we also had Bruno Silva plus 7.5 alternate spread, minus 145 corner unit, 0.17 back. Bruno Silva was really the redeemer. I mean, over a unit on the night, and I mean, it was pretty much a lot of the profit. Bruno Silva absolutely cashed us on the night. Super excited about this one. I was so hype. Oh my goodness, I was so hype over this fight. This was one of those. We talked about it. We knew, yes, I told you guys, I'm dying on the Bruno Silva train. Yes, Josh Van was able to get past him. Yes, Manel Kape was able to get past him. I told you guys, I'm dying on the hill. Bruno Silva, bring us home. And that's exactly what he did. It's probably one of my best plays of the entire year. I'm not going to lie. This was, because it wasn't like one of those like lucky ones where like you just get lucky. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't that at all. This was calculated, went into it knowing this, like perfect read, spot on read, and we absolutely cashed for it. The hard work pays off. You know I do my research over here, and I'm glad this one paid off. Next up, though, we got Cody Gibson versus Aoriqileng. I didn't have anything on Cody Gibson. Like we talked about in the Best Bets video, I thought about placing something on him, but I had him in a later parlay that we talked about, my Hail Mary one, and if it got to the point in the night where it was relying on Cody Gibson, like I talked about, we were not going to put anything else on Cody Gibson. We were just going to let it ride in that Hail Mary parlay. That's exactly where we were at. In that point of the night, the parlay, the Hail Mary was still live. Cody Gibson, he was the next one up on that parlay. Let it ride. Ended up losing, got knocked out in the first round in like a minute. I mean, Cody Gibson's just, he went in there like a dumbass. He got caught like a dumbass. I mean, that's totally Cody Gibson's fault. He got lazy, got caught. It is what it is. I think the better fighter lost, and that can happen. The better fighter can lose, and that was honestly a prime example of it. But shout out to Aoriqileng. He deserved it, clear as day. Got the win, caught his opponent lacking, snagged it up. So shout out to him. But next up, we had Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. Just like before with the Drew Dober fight, it felt so nice to not be the person who's talking about this and you don't sound like a madman. This fight was stopped in the first round. Kyle Nelson had a first round knockout win that Dan did not stop. He did not allow to happen. I mean, he called the fight off. You can literally see the clock. There's 3 seconds left on the fight, or on the fight clock. Kyle Nelson is beating the shit out of Matt Frevola. Ref comes in, waves it off, completely waves the fight off, yet they're still somehow allowed to continue. When is this shit going to stop? When is this going to stop? I mean, it felt so good to not be on the other end of this shit, because whenever you have a huge bet on this type of a fight and you're the one complaining, like I said, people are just going to say, L cope, you're coping. No, this was blatant. I don't know if you want to call it corruption or just, I don't know what you call this, but it shouldn't be allowed to happen. I don't give a shit if the ref makes a mistake. If the ref makes a mistake, totally fine. That stuff happens, but the fight's got to be over. It's got to be called over. You can't stop a fight and then say, oopsie, whoa, my bad, let's just go back. Thank goodness that Kyle Nelson ended up winning this fight. I mean, I'm so glad to see him get his hand raised, because that was just such horseshit. For anyone who took the under on that, I feel terrible for you, because that line should have absolutely cashed. The knockout line should have cashed. And literally, I had a couple live bets on the spot. I took it by KO. Literally, I placed this bet within the first minute of the fight, because I see Matt Frevola coming in there swinging bombs like an absolute madman, because I figured if he was going to play this fight smart, he's probably going to grapple, because he could have beat Kyle Nelson in the grappling. He comes out here throwing absolute nukes, all caution to the wind. I'm like, okay, someone's going to get knocked the hell out. Right away, I was like, easy, minus 200, 0.1 units, place that. That should have hit, didn't, obviously. I placed a little live bet on Kyle Nelson money line. These were live too. I don't have live here, but this was a live money line bet. Boom. But yeah, plus 190 ended up hitting, which was nice. I played it super light though, 0.05 units. This was in the first round, I believe, too. Before the knockout. And then after this is 100% in the first round, because I placed this Matt Prepolec live money line plus 340. This was after the second round started. I was like, oh my goodness, we just saw Jake Matthews have the same exact thing happen, and he had an adrenaline dump. Somehow Kyle Nelson did not have an adrenaline dump, and he was able to go long. That's literally the only reason I placed this bet. I literally was like, all right, if they're going to be corrupt, we got corruption, we just got to play with the corruption. But of course, I tried to play with it. Didn't go my way. But yeah, that was quite literally the only reason I placed this bet was because I was expecting Kyle Nelson to have an adrenaline dump from thinking he won, getting out of the fight mode, and then he has to re-lock back in and switch it around. That's literally the only reason we had this placed. So I ended up down on this fight, which was kind of annoying, especially because the KO prop should have hit, so it should have been up on this either way. But yeah, absolute horseshit. And that's the worst part too, is like if it would have been stopped when it should have, I was like the knockout prop would have hit. Kyle Nelson live money line would have hit, and I would never have placed the Matt Frevola bet. Absolutely stupid. But yeah, no, actually, like something needs to happen with these refs, like selling these fights. Like the Jake Matthews fight is the perfect example too. If by any, I don't know why this is not more clear of a rule. If for any reason the referee stops the fight before the bell rings, I don't care if he says he doesn't hear the bell or if he thinks he heard the bell. What type of bullshit excuse is that? I don't care if the ref has a heart attack in the octagon. If any referee just completely shits the bed like that, then the fight just call it a no contest. Call it a no contest, end the fight, and then book the guys to do a rematch in 2 weeks. That's the solution. And they do it on the Contender Series. They have bad calls. I mean, literally the Ramon Tavares in Surrey City. Dana White was like, oh, that's not a good call, you know. Well, let's have you guys run it back. Why don't they just do that with the UFC? If the ref completely sells a fight, literally just rule it a no contest. And obviously, if it was pretty early on in the fight, I know Matt Frevola did take some damage, so I don't know if he'd really want to run it back that early. But give the guys the option. All right, let's do a rematch, because obviously this shouldn't count for anything. Nope. I mean, the corruption at this point, it's so blatant to the point where it's like, what do you even do though? Like, we keep ranting, like people keep talking about it, nothing's gonna happen. It's like it's a lot. I mean, it's Frevola, it's literally Jake Matthews, even the Luke Yoel Alvarez. I mean, it's like the fights where this shit keeps happening is absolute, and it's like it's not even, it shouldn't be a debate, it shouldn't be up for question, you know what I mean? It should be so clearly like, just stop it, no contest. That, because the ref messed up, and that should be called no contest, because you just literally took years off of Matt Frevola's life. I mean, Matt Frevola is an absolute dog. He never gave up on himself, but he suffered a really bad knockout. I mean, he got knocked the hell out. He stood up. He could barely even walk. And then you went and made him fight another 2 rounds. I mean, you probably just took years off of that man's life for referee incompetence. Call the damn fight off. That was horseshit. Sorry for ranting about that, but it's like, it just feels nice to like not have money on this type of a fight when you can actually talk about it and people aren't saying elk help. And I'm not saying these little like live bets. I'm like, those are just small little live bets. I mean like real bets where people have a ton of money on shit. Like then people say, oh, elk hope. Like, no, like this was just small little live bets. That's not like I'm not coping here. I don't give a shit about that. Like, it's purely just for the love of the game. It's pretty awful. There needs to be something done about it. Will there? Probably not though. But anyway, after that absolute dumpster fire, Charles Jourdain versus Davey Grant. This whole week, I've had people calling me crazy, saying I'm high. I commented back on, I forget who commented that, but I commented back last night. I said, yes, brother. I'm high on life. High on life for Charles Jourdain. I do the research. I follow the numbers. I do everything I can do in my power to give you guys the best reads for fights. I do my own work. I crank the numbers. I look at the data when it can help us make decisions. I told you guys going into this fight, I had this line as an 80% at least implied probability for Charles Jourdain to win this fight. Even though the bookies had him at like a 63% chance. Told us to hammer it. Oh, he cashed. This was one of the most satisfying lines hitting ever, because it was like, I saw something that I didn't see anyone else talking about, and my read was perfect, and it was spot on. So I will pat myself on the back for this one. And the play of the week cashes. We're going to talk more about this one in a bit, because we got it down as the play of the week. But Charles Jourdain, yeah, we got that one right. We got that one right, clear as day. Charles Jourdain is that guy. Next up, Manon versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. I was kicking myself for this one. I mean, we went from absolute masterclass of a bet to this was stupid, got greedy. Should have just taken Manon Fiorot, especially because I had... This in hindsight, this was actually like a good learning lesson, because I had Manon Fiorot in over 2.5 rounds, but I had the over 2.5 rounds in a later parlay that I had a unit on. So I should have just taken the Manon and Fiorot money line, because I should not have overextended going for both round props. That was a tactical error that on my part. I should have not double dipped like that. I should have kept it. Should have kept it separately. Should have taken Manon Fiorot money line straight up, especially because that wasn't that big of an odds jump. From minus 200 to minus 155, purely just got greedy. So although I never saw a reality of Jasudavicius getting knocked out in the first round. Never. I don't think anyone could have ever saw that coming. Lord knows what the props were on that. Manon Fiorot by round 1 knockout, that must have been like plus 5,000. It must have been absolutely insane. So I ended up missing on this one, but I did take it light, so not too mad about it. And I didn't end up playing anything else on Manon Fiorot money line. I know we talked about it. I just didn't end up playing it. I wanted to take it a little bit lighter. Kicking myself a bit for it, I'm not going to lie, but I didn't end up playing anything on there. And this line ended up tightening up too. It ended up being like a minus, 215, 210, something around there. So it ended up moving the other way, which I was surprised about. But yeah. High confidence pick, Manon Fiorot, cash, even though I guess she didn't cash us on this one. But anyway, next up, Marlon Vera versus Aiemann Zahabi. Dumpster fire of a fight from start to finish. Yeah, you could have argued Marlon Vera won that fight, but literally, I was texting my boy about this fight. I was like, dude, it was like going into the third round, it was 1-1. The money line were dead even on each guy, minus 115 either way. I literally texted him, I was like, this is literally just a battle of who's going to fuck up less than the other. And that's pretty much how it came down to. You could argue that Vera won this fight. I don't really, if you're letting it go 1-1 going into the third round against a Canadian in Canada, and it's not just a Canadian, it's just the hometown guy in his hometown. You can't be that dumb. You got to put a little higher of a pace. Come on, Cheeto. He knew what he was doing ahead of time. Like that was obvious. Like, you're going to let it get that close. You're probably not going to get your hand raised, even if maybe he thought he did deserve to win that fight. But if you let it go that close against the hometown man in his hometown, you're asking to get robbed, or at least you're just asking to lose. I don't know if I'd call that a robbery, but you're asking to lose. And that's exactly what happened. So, almost as bad as the Kevin Holland fight. Now, this is one, so I guess, yeah, that really does it for that. Back and forth. I think Vera might have won that fight, but I'm not really claiming robbery. Could have gone either guy's way. But Kevin Holland fight versus Mike Malott. This is what pisses me off about the UFC at times. Like, we have examples where we had Drew Dober. Where the hell are you, Drew Dober? We had Drew Dober commit one foul. He had one nut tap in the third round of the fight, in a fight that's 1-1. Now okay, this is gonna really change the outcome of this fight. You take a point away, like, Drew Dober's fighting for a draw basically at this point. That's how bad it was. So, that was like a fight altering later in the fight that really would, that determined the outcome of the fight. At that point, Drew Dober needed a knockout win to win. Otherwise, he was not winning at all. So, that was his only chance. Maybe a 10-8, but you get my point. That completely changed the entire outcome of the fight drastically off of one foul. No warning, no nothing. They take a point immediately. And after talking to the commissioner in a 6-minute break, horse shit. But they take a point for the first nut tap. If you want to do that, if that's how you believe a fight should be reffed, cool. And I know there's different refs, but I'm just saying, if that's going to be the standard for the night, okay, one nut tap where it obviously affects a guy, he's taking all 5 minutes to recover, take a point. If that's how you want to do it, that's totally fine. But don't switch up later on in the fights. On a later fight in the night, you can't just completely say, nope, we're going to allow this guy to get nut tapped. What was it, 2 or 3 times in the first round? The exact same scenario, 2 different fighters, except one is from the hometown where the fight's being held, and one's not. And one gets favored, he gets better treatment than the other guy purely because of the hometown advantage. That's got to be some of the most blatant, I don't want to say like corruption. I don't know what you call it. Malpractice? I don't know what the hell you call it. But the inconsistency is just so beyond frustrating. Not even for the bets, just for the love of the game, for the sport as a whole. It's just so horseshit. It's like when you're playing basketball, you're playing soccer, you're playing football. You know, when you were younger, like some refs are gonna allow everything. You know, and some refs you'll play with, they're not allowing anything. You know, it's like there are some refs on both ends of the spectrum, but it's like if you're having a full event like this, you got to be consistent in how you're upholding the rules. I mean, I get some of it's going to be subjective, but it's like we had the Canadian get nut tapped once in the third round, no warning, immediately taking a point. Then we see Kevin Holland get his nuts blown out at least 2 times within the first round. That's going to alter the entire outcome of the fight. I mean, now he's fighting with his nuts blown out for another 10 minutes after the fact. And no point taken away. It's just absolute horse shit. And I can't express that enough. It's such bullshit. Like, it makes me so mad for Kevin Holland. It was a back and forth fight. I think he was looking really good. But yeah, you get your nuts blown out multiple times. No point. Of course, there was no point taken. I mean, at this point, it's like, it's not Canada. It's just wherever the fight goes. I mean, if you're fighting in Abu Dhabi, it's the same. If it's in Paris, it's the same. If it's in Brazil, it's the same. It doesn't matter where it is. That's why I don't even know if it's like, it's not the countries themselves. It's just the people behind the scenes pulling the strings. It's a lot of corruption, and it's some bullshit. And I know I'm ranting about this, but I mean, like, that's pretty, like, you're going to have one guy get a point taken away immediately for one nut tap, and then another fighter, not at all, gets blown in the nuts twice in the first round. Nada. Absolute BS. I will say Kevin Holland looked good. Mike Malott looked better than I thought he would. I will say. I mean, after blowing a guy's chances of having kids, I mean, he looked good, I guess. But yeah, should he have won this fight? Absolutely fucking not, because he was losing. It was a 29-28. I mean, he was losing the fight. And then he blows his nuts out, and then he wins the second and third rounds. Wasn't winning until he blows the guy's nutsack out and doesn't get a point taken away and somehow skates off with the win. Mike Malott, we're fading his dog ass in his next fight because he's not good. And I'll stand on that. Kevin Holland looked pretty good. Not great, but it was a little bit like Kevin Holland looked good. Mike Malott looked better than I thought he was going to. But yeah, blowing a guy's chances of having kids and then giving up a round and then somehow scraping by the second and third. This one pissed me off so much. I was so mad too. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I was literally sitting there watching this at the bar, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is sitting there forever trying to let this man rearrange his testicles on damn live television right now. Like this is, but no point though. No point. But main event. This was a bit of a crazy one, I will say. RDR giving up was not on my bingo card. And honestly, you know, I feel like I had a ton of really good reads on this card. I will not lie. We had the Bruno Silva. We had the Jourdains. We took Monroe. We were heavy on her. I mean, there's like a lot of great reads. I mean, over this entire fight, we were a little bit hesitant on Danny Barlow. He ended up shitting the bed. A little bit hesitant on Aiemann. He ended up shitting the bed. Luciano as a high confidence pick. I mean, every high confidence pick ended up cashing. We had Stephanie Luciano as a high confidence pick. We had Drew Dober as a high confidence pick. We had Charles Jourdain as a high confidence pick. And we had Manon Fiorot as a high confidence pick. Went 4 for 4 in the high confidence picks. Solid reads. Bruno Silva, amazing read there. I mean, I will pat myself on the back. This was a god-awful read. This was a terrible read. I can't get RDR fights right, man. There's certain, and I know I talked about this. I talked about that in, I forget which video, it was Locks and Traps or the weigh-in recap or the best bets. I don't know which one. But I literally talked about it. I was like, dude, RDR was one of these guys that I can never get right and I can never get down. And I'll tell you what, this was like my read. This was the exact opposite. Like this fight turned out to be the exact opposite of my read, which was kind of funny. Like in hindsight, it was kind of funny. I thought Brendan Allen was going to look his best early on. I thought he was going to win the first round. At that point, we'd be able to get RDR as a big underdog line, low live bet. I was really excited for it. The exact opposite happens. I mean, the exact opposite. RDR comes out in the first round, and he Brendan Allen in the first round. Looks amazing. That's why I ended up taking this Brendan Allen live moneyline sprinkle plus 400. This was in the first round because he got mounted immediately and completely controlled for the entire first round. Took the plus 400, 0.1 units on Brendan Allen live moneyline. And then shortly after, shit hit the fan. This was, I believe, in the third round, I think somewhere around this point. RDR live moneyline plus 500. Perfect hedge. French's kiss in terms of the hedge. But in terms of the read, oh my goodness, it was like the complete opposite of what I thought. I mean, literally, RDR came in looking amazing early on, extremely dominant. And then the later it went on, death gassed, got finished later on. I mean, literally, I thought it was going to be RDR getting the submission win in rounds 3, 4, or 5. Like, literally, I thought he was going to finish the fight 3, 4, 5. It was going to be later finish. The exact opposite. And it was the exact opposite for Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen, fight IQ, I guess he's patched it. Maybe they got to upgrade, you know. Maybe Brendan Allen, he got a buff, you know. He got buffed, RDR got nerfed. I don't know. And the same with the cardio. RDR death gassing, and then Brendan Allen having amazing cardio. Maybe Brendan Allen is patching these holes in his game. I was unfamiliar with their game, Brendan Allen. I mean, literally, we talked about it. If fights were only 1-round fights, Brendan Allen would have the belt right now. If there was no Chimaev, I mean, he would have the belt. So maybe if he's patching this cardio, he could be a real problem. He could be a real demon. Absolutely crazy. I mean, I was so surprised to see RDR quit, though. I mean, RDR quitting was kind of crazy. I mean, at his age, he probably just pissed away and he shot at the belt. I mean, realistically, he's like, what, 34? He's going to have to win another 2 fights minimum to get a shot at the belt at this point. I mean, giving up like that, quitting on the spot. That was just like so stupid. Like, that was so stupid. He could have just gone out there, started the next round, and then just let Brendan Allen get on top of him and kind of like curl up. You know what I mean? Like, he could have just let him get a TKO when the fight started. Throwing it on the stool is like, that's the softest shit ever. I mean, that was absolute behavior. I mean, absolute behavior. Cannot believe it. I mean, literally, it's like, if you're done, just start the next round. Go out there, let Brendan Allen just land a takedown and let him get a ground and pound TKO. Save your face like that. I mean, if that were to happen, RDR's death gas, he goes out, Brendan Allen lands a takedown, gets a ground and pound TKO in the first 10 seconds of the next round. No one's really been like, yeah, he was death gassed, he got finished, went out on your shield or went out on your sword, whatever the hell. And yeah, you know, no one would bat an eye. Congrats to Brendan Allen. He looked great. Quitting on the stool, it wasn't like he was taking that much damage either. I need to go rewatch that fight because really, when I saw him quit like that, I was like mind blown. I thought that the round was over. I literally look away. I was talking to my boy because I was at the bar and I was talking to him and I look back and I see Herzog like waving it off. I'm like, what the hell happened? I literally saw the round end. Like, what's going on here? Like, it did not look like it was that bad. Yeah, RDR just, I mean, talk about a way to lose all of your swagger, you know what I mean? All aura just completely gone. How bad is Bo Nickel? I don't know. It's one of those, you know, with Osmat Bekoev, we were hesitant about him because of his Dylan Budka performance. You know, I was talking with my man Gorilla in the comments about this one. I was like, you know what? Like, really, the RDR GM3 fight, I should have put more weight on that. I was kind of just waiting it off because we saw him go long with Whitaker, but like, I saw a man go life and death with GM3. I should have listened to more of the intuition behind that. Like, that would have been, probably should have paid more attention to that in terms of the pick. It was more so just Brendan Allen's cardio and his fight IQ, and he patched both of those problems in this fight. So congrats to Brendan Allen. He deserved it. Looked career best, and that's the thing too. Brendan Allen is young. He's like 30 years old. He has a long-ass career ahead of him. So shout out to him. He looked damn good. And I don't know what's next for Brendan Allen or RDR. More so, I'm excited for Brendan Allen, what's next for him. But RDR, what the hell do we do there? I don't know. But anyway, in terms of the parlays, Charles Jourdain, moneyline, play of the week, absolute cash. Cash money, cash bag, run it straight to the bank, cash. Next up, we had Fiorot versus Jasudavicius, over 2.5 rounds. I like this read a lot. This was one where we just genuinely got unlucky. Good read, bad luck. I mean, literally just the outcome of that. Who the hell could have ever predicted that? These girls are both extremely durable. We saw Fiorot fight 5 rounds with a broken nose. And Jasudavicius had never been knocked down in the UFC before. She had a good ass chin. Even girls with a lot more power were never able to wobble her before. So to see her go down with one straight shot, I mean, it wasn't like some spinning back fist or like some spinning elbow, you know what I mean? Where it's like, woo, or like a crazy like head kick where you're just getting like a Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman head kick. Like nothing like that. Like it was just straight, boop. Jasmine, she went out. that was, I mean, no one could have predicted that. I really like that line a lot too. The over 2.5 seemed like absolute cash. Got unlucky on that, so lost that one. But we had the cheeky alternate spread props that ended up cashing a little parlay. Wish I would have gone a little heavier on that. Just had a half unit, but absolute cash. Amazing play. And then also had the Hail Mary get ruined, I guess, which was shitty, but it is what it is. Stephanie Luciano, Drew Dober, Charles Jourdain, Cody Gibson sold, Fiorot and RDR. So it would have sold either way with RDR at the very end. But damn it, Gibson. He sold us. I mean, I went not even super mad about the RDR one, but the Gibson one, I'm like, dude, you just went out there like an idiot and got caught right away. But anyway, that was fine. And then I had the other parlay with Drew Dober money line, RDR money line, ended up missing two. RDR sold the bit or shit the bed there. And then I also had three other parlays I added. Ended up going negative on all three of those, so it really didn't make that much of a difference. But I added Stephanie Luciano money line, Charles Jourdain money line, quarter unit plus 105, which cashed. And then I had I kind of redid this Hail Mary parlay, just like literally same thing, same odds, just with less legs. Still ended up shitting the bed there with RDR, sold it. So that was annoying too. And then finally ended up with Drew Dober and Kevin Holland money line, because I didn't want to overextend on Kevin Holland. I really didn't want to go crazy on him, but at the same time I wanted to have a little something on him. Parlayed him up with Drew Dober. I was excited. I was like, okay, we got Kevin Holland at plus 140 odds. I like that. Missed it. But anyway, on the night, absolute shmoney cash. Great night. This was like probably one of the like hardest betting nights I think there's ever been. I mean, this was one of the hardest cards to get right. There were so many landmines. I mean, the dogs were barking. The underdogs were going crazy all night long. I don't even know the total, like how many underdogs ended up winning on total on the night, but it must have been absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, I mean a ton. I mean, I'm just looking at these right here. Underdog, no underdog, but underdog, no underdog, underdog. This is about to pick them, but like kind of crazy. But ended up positive on the night. Play of the week, absolute shmoney. Absolutely cash. Jourdain was our lock. Happy about that. Very happy about it. Had great reads on this card. Super excited. But anyway, guys, that does it for the recap video. Let me know how you guys did in the comments down below. This was probably one of the hardest cards, like I said, betting-wise. This was a hard-ass night. I know a lot of people got rinsed on this card because that had a ton of traps. It was a rough one, but still somehow managed to come out positive. Thank God. Ended up coming up positive on the night. Really, Charles Jourdain brought us home. So super happy about that one. But anyway, guys, I want to get this video out to you guys so I can start on the next week's card. Excited for this next pay-per-view coming up with our boy Tom Aspinall. Going to be a banger. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for all the love on the videos. Thank you so much for all the love, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, memberships, all of that. Thank you so much for all the support on the videos. It means a ton. And you guys have been going crazy, so I really appreciate all the love that you guys have given me. But so, I'm going to get this video out to you guys. We're going to start on the next week's pay-per-view card. I'm super excited for it. But in the meantime, it's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and I'm out. So, peace.